Hey parents, are you exhausted from dealing with your toddler's constant tantrums, meltdowns, and behavioral issues? If you're like most parents I know, you've been through it all. You've tried timeouts, positive reinforcement. You've talked to specialists, to parents. You've maybe been given the extra frustrating advice of, don't worry, they'll outgrow it. Or the only option you've been given is medication. I want you to know you're not alone. I want to share with you Jameson's story here in a little bit and go through his scans to find what was under the surface to his behavioral issues. But before I do, I want to let you know that 1 in 7 kids is actually diagnosed with a behavioral condition. So it's not your fault, it's not your child's fault. There's often something under the surface from the symptoms that we see as a missing piece. And as I share in this video, I want you to know that I'm a dad myself. My son has had plenty of tantrums, but if you find that your kiddos' terrible twos are way more intense than you ever anticipated, if you find that you just are always walking on eggshells, you can never get a break, and you're always afraid of the next meltdown, this video is for you. My wife is actually a parent coach, so she is really good at identifying strategies for parents from a behavioral intervention standpoint. She shares with parents hidden landmines they might be stepping on that are causing their child to erupt. However, if you're watching this, you might have tried those strategies already and you found that nothing's sticking. If that's the case, it's likely because there's something under the surface going on with your child's nervous system. So, in Jameson's case, as I just showed you, I'm going to show his scans here again in a moment, but mom brought him to see us because he had a lot of behavior and impulse control issues. She found that things were starting to escalate really fast. His gas pedal revved things up, but he had no brake pedal to bring him back down. Daycare was becoming a concern, and things were intensifying at home. He also struggled with other signs of a stressed nervous system. He was anxious with new situations. Frequently at night, he would actually start to throw up and vomit because of the stress built up in his body. When mom brought him in, the first thing we did were these neurological scans. And instead of just asking mom about the symptoms, we wanted to see what was going on with Jameson's nervous system. And as you can see in his scans, these areas of red are actually areas of hidden stress in his nervous system. What was happening is, even though mom was doing all the right things, there was stress built up inside his body that was flooding his brain with stress chemistry and causing him to go into sympathetic stress, also known as fight flight, much easier than the other kiddos around him. Fortunately, with gentle neurological chiropractic, we started adjusting him, and right away, mom noticed better emotional control. He actually started to sleep better. He wasn't throwing up at night, but his nervous system was able to come down and get in a deep night's sleep. Daycare noted many fewer outbursts, better behavior regulation. And mom noticed he even started to improve with his speech and he became less picky with food. Instead of just wanting processed foods, he started to eat healthier foods. And this was because his nervous system was calmer. He could take in better things from the outside. So here's the deal. There are a couple of reasons why this happened. The first has to do with balance between two major parts of the nervous system. It's specifically called the autonomic nervous system, and it has a gas pedal, which is, you can think of as the fight flight response, or you've also maybe heard the term sympathetic response. This is where a lot of kids with behavior issues, what we see is this gas pedal is ramped up. Now, the other side of the nervous system activates the brake pedal. This is what brings things back down. So, if your child is constantly revved up, it's because their gas pedal is going and there's no braking system. So, the two things that we found in Jameson's case are, one, there was extra stress from his body being sent into his brain. Now, you can see these red bars here, and what this scan is measuring is how much energy is going through each level. The white is ideal, green's mild, blue's moderate, and red's severe. So when we see this area in red, it means that stress is being sent from his body into his brain, even when he's at rest, even when he should be sleeping, even when he's in a safe environment, snuggling his mom, reading a book, at home in a situation that he knows. So his brain was receiving an incredible amount of extra stress chemistry because it was being flooded with stress from his body. So now the gas pedal side gets ramped up. Adrenaline, cortisol, all those stress hormones start to flood through your child's nervous system. Why does this happen? Most often we see things actually get thrown off way early on, even from a stressful pregnancy. Mom had reported that stress was an 8 out of 10 while she was pregnant. The next thing we see is a stressful labor and delivery, C-section, vacuum forceps, being stuck in the birth canal, having a long labor. In Jameson's case, mom was in labor for 40 hours. What happens is that's an incredible amount of stress on a newborn baby's neck area. So you can see not only is there red, but where it's concentrated is at the very top of his spine and nervous system. Now, this becomes incredibly important because of the next thing I want to share with you, the brake pedal side of this balance. The brake pedal comes primarily from what's known as the vagus nerve. This is the major nerve that calms and regulates the nervous system. So it's okay for your kid to have a good gas pedal. When they're playing on the park, when they're running around and wrestling with friends, they need a gas pedal to keep up and go, go, go. But what they also need is a brake pedal to bring things back down. Just like driving your car, if your foot's always on the gas, your engine's always revved, your car always wants to keep going. But if you put your foot on your brake and your car slows down, it's doing what it's supposed to do. However, in a lot of kids we see with behavioral issues, the brake pedal is actually, in a sense, it's like the brake line's been cut. It'd be like putting your foot on the brake in your car, but your car keeps going. What does this have to do with Jameson scans? Well, the vagus nerve actually comes from the brainstem, which is most influenced by the upper neck. So in Jameson's case, likely from that 40 hours of labor, we saw this area of his nervous system get thrown off, which is where the brake pedal lies. So as a result, now his nervous system is getting too much stress and it's not able to come down from it. So this is also why you might notice a kiddo with behavioral issues has other signs of a stressed nervous system. They don't sleep well. Maybe their gut is off, like in Jameson's case, or maybe you notice they're constipated. They're picky eaters. Maybe they have sensory overwhelm. They don't like to be touched, or they don't like certain clothes. In Jameson's case, he was a picky eater because that sensation was too noisy for his brain. So if you notice these other signs and symptoms, it's also gives us clues that, yeah, it's probably not just a general behavioral thing. It's not a parenting issue. It actually has to do with getting your child's nervous system out of fight or flight into calm, rest, and digest mode. So if this resonates with you, if you've tried these other approaches, if you've tried the reward charts and the star charts and the perfect reward system, you've tried timeouts, you've tried behavioral strategies, and you feel like it just hasn't like gotten in, it's likely because your child's nervous system is out of balance. So if that's the case, please reach out. We'd love to see what these insight scans show for your child. And more importantly, help them tolerate life better. Help them regulate their emotions and behaviors, tolerate transitions, handle sensory input better, because at Whole Family Chiropractic, we don't just want to treat the symptoms on the surface. We want to get to the root cause and help you out.